In today's class and in next few classes, we will learn different aspects of array. Then the first question comes in our mind is, what is array? An array is a group of related data items that share a common name. So the information that we are getting from a single line, that array is a group of data and all these data items or data are related to each other. And third point is all these data items share a common name. Now we can define an array this way also. An array is a data structure or derived data type containing a number of data items of same type. We are already aware of the fundamental data types int, float and char. And in one of our earlier classes where I taught data types in C, there I said that array is a derived data type and array can be said as a data structure also. Then again the question comes that what is then data structure? Data structure is a format to organize and store data for a specific purpose. And what is that purpose? Why we need array? Suppose in a class we have 60 students and we want to store the total marks secured by all those 60 students in an exam or in a semester. So one way is we will declare a variable marks and there we will store the marks of every student one by one. Suppose in the process of writing the program, suppose we have stored the marks of first student and then after processing with that marks of the first student, then we again store the marks of the second student in the same variable. Then what will happen? The marks of the first student will vanish, it will be lost. Now again in the later part of the program, if suppose we need the marks of the first student, then we will feel helpless. So this way, by using a single variable, we cannot manage the marks of 60 students. Then another approach is we will declare 60 variables in our program, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3 till marks 60, and then marks of first student will be stored in marks 1, that variable. Marks of second student will be stored in the second variable which we have declared as marks 2, and so on. But is this a good programming approach? No. Suppose if we want to store say marks of 3000 student or 5000 student, or suppose we want to store the salary of 5 lakhs employees of a big organization, then what we'll do? Will we declare 5 lakhs variables, same type of variables in our program to store the salary of all those employees? No, this is not at all a good programming approach. So it will be very difficult to manage all those variables and their processing, and it will be a huge lines of codes. Then what is the solution? The solution is array. So this is the format of array variables. What we can see here is we have used a single name marks, and all those marks of all those 60 students will be stored in the same variable. But how it is possible? It is possible because after marks we have within bracket we have a number 60. This 60 or the number that after the variable within this third bracket, the number that we have, that actually signifies the size of the array, means how many related data or same type of data can be stored in that variable. So here the size of the array or array size is 60. That means we will be able to store 60 different related or same type of data in the same variable, and that is marks. So how it will be done? The declaration and initialization part I will be discussing in my future classes. So there I will be discussing in more detail. And when we change the subscript value, then that is treated as a separate variable, though we are using the same name. Now in C, the subscript value starts from 0. So if we want to store the marks of 60 students, then the subscript value will start from 0 and the final value will be 59. From 0 to 59 it is 60. So marks of 0 means where the index or subscript value is 0, that stores the marks of the first student, and marks of 59 where the index or subscript value is 59, that stores the marks of the last student or 60th student. Now as I said that array is a derived data type. It doesn't have its own data type. The data type of an array is decided by the data type of the elements that it stores. And we know the fundamental data types are int, float, and char. So if it is storing all the elements of int type, then that will be an array of integer. If it is storing all the data of nature float, then that array will be referred as a float array. And same thing happens with character data type also. So this is an example of array of integers where we can see we have an array of size 10, means we can store 10 same type of elements. And since this is array of integers, so all these elements or every element in that array will have data type integer. This is an example of array of floats where again the size is 10. That means all the data in every position in that array we will store float type of data. Next is array of characters. It has a specific name which is called string. So this is an array of characters or string, because when we learn the character data type, there we have seen that by a single variable we can only store a single character. Then how to store a string of characters or multiple characters, and this is the way how we can. And that can store space, special characters. And when we assign a character value to an array, that single character is written within single quotes. That concept we know. And the difference of array of characters or string with other types of arrays, means of integers and float, is in case of string we have a extra byte, and that is to store the null character. Here this slash and followed by this 0 altogether, that is called null character. That also we know. And this null character tells the compiler that this is the end of the string or this is the end of the array of characters. But in case of integers and float array, we don't have that provision, so we don't have to bother about that. But in case of when we declare an array of characters, we have to keep in mind that we have to, the size of that array should be one more than our requirement. Now this is an example of array where we have stored integer data, float as well as character. So by now you know this cannot be a valid array. Array is broadly classified into two parts, one dimensional array and two dimensional array, though dimension more than 2 is also possible, and accordingly we have three dimensional array or multi-dimensional array, but mostly we use 1D and 2D in C programming, at least the normal programs that we write. Now one dimensional array, this is an example of one dimensional array that can be looked as a list of values. And if you are aware of the matrix, then you know that in case of row matrix it has single row or one row and multiple columns. So this can be visualized as a row matrix, and this is an array of integers as you can see. And this can be another form of 1D or one dimensional array where we have again a list of values, but this time we have stored those values vertically. So here we have one column and multiple rows. Here we have one column and 6 rows. So one dimensional array has only one dimensional, either the length or the breadth. It is a list of values, and it can be treated as either as a row matrix or as a column matrix. Similarly, we have two dimensional array where we have two dimensions, length as well as breadth. So this is an example of two dimensional array where you can see that we have multiple rows and multiple columns. Now this can be treated as, this can be looked as a table of data. Or if you are familiar with Excel sheet, then you have already seen there that there we have multiple rows and multiple columns. And if you have already worked in Excel sheet, then it will be very easy for you to understand the concept of two-dimensional array. Then how to represent this marks 35. So if we count the rows, then row, as we can see here, the number of rows is 4. So row starts from 0 and the last value of row is 3. Similarly, column, we have 6 columns, so column value starts from 0 and column value ends at 5. So if we suppose if this table of data, it again stores the marks of different students in a class, then this marks 35 will be represented by, again, if the variable name is marks, then marks, and then the index or subscript value. So row wise it is third row, that means the subscript value will be 2, one less, and column wise this is fourth column, so the column value will be written as 3. So when in the program we will write marks of 2 and 3, then the compiler will understand this marks. Now if we write marks of 3 and 5, then which marks it will point to? 3 means the fourth row, that means this row, and 5 means the sixth column, that means this column. So this will be the concerned marks. So this is how we represent an element in a 2D array. So this is what we understand by array in C programs. In our next few classes, we will be learning more about array. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you.